$5,000 in dividends based on stocks that you purchase. You know, every time you buy a dividend stock, you give yourself a raise. Buy a share, get more dividend payments. Buy a share, get more dividend payments. The best part about dividends, all you have to do is you put your money into a stock or an ETF and you get paid simply for owning that stock or ETF. You don't have to go to work. You don't have to clock in. You sit back, you relax, and you let the money do the work for you. Today, I'm going to explain exactly how you can earn $5,000 in dividend payments and how you can actually grow it to someday replace your full-time income if done the right way. Now, I did a video about a year ago, and a year ago, this right here, this screenshot that you're looking at, shows my annual income of $521. So basically, that's $521 of dividend payments that I received from the stocks and ETFs that I owned. So $521 in annual income. And what I'm at today, $5,048.27 of annual income. And that is why I say in this title, how to make $5,000 with dividends. Now, you can do that annually, you can do that monthly. I'm going to share with you both examples. I will say, not every day can you sit here and say that last year you got a 50% raise or more, because I got well above a 50% raise. I got a ton more. I went from making $500 a year to making $5,000 a year simply for investing my money. How much you grow in your dividends all depends on how serious you get with the plan to reduce how much you're spending, to reduce your debt so you can invest more and increase your income so maybe someday you don't have to work at all. That's the whole beauty. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take a step back and say, what is the goal? Now, for my goal, I would love to make $12,000 a year. That'd be $1,000 every single month of somebody coming up and dropping $1,000 into my account in dividend payouts simply for owning a share of a stock. So right here on the dividend tracker, on the left-hand side, you can see it says calculators. I'm going to click on that. And then let's say our annual income goal is to make $12,000. Now, this is where it gets tricky. What is tricky about it is you got to determine what's my favorite company that I want to buy into. Now, I'll give a few examples, but these are not financial advice to you to buy, hold, or sell any type of investment security. Always do your own research. But let's say, for example, I want to buy into Apple, AAPL. Now, this is a pretty bad example because Apple does have a very low dividend payout ratio, which I'll share with you in just a second. But if I select Apple and I hit calculate, what this will let me know is that in order to generate $12,000 a year from Apple, I would have to invest $2 million or 14,117 shares. Obviously, that's ridiculous. And don't click off the video yet, because you're probably like, okay, dude, really, you're asking me, in order to make $12,000 a year, go find yourself $2 million. What kind of stupid, dumb thing is that? No, I get it. That is a really insane thing. But keep in mind that the dividend yield right here is only 0.61%, which is a very, very low dividend yield. But let's talk about another one. This is a real estate investment trust known as the Realty Income Corporation. So with Realty Income, if I recalculate this, look at that, dividend yield of 4.27%. What a big difference. But look, all you would have to do is invest $285,000 into O, for example, to generate $12,000 a year or $1,000 a month. Now, let's take a step back from that. We're going to use this as an example, $285,752. I'm just going to copy this piece right here, and then we're going to hop over to NerdWallet. Right here we are on nerdwallet.com on their savings goal calculator. So in order to build up to $285,000 that we need in order to generate our income in that particular fund, I'm going to place that right here, $285,752. We're starting with nothing. And how long do you want to grow to that goal? This is where you got to decide, okay, 10 years? Does that feel like a long time? Does it have to be 5 years? Do you got plenty of time? If you're like 20 years old, you got plenty of time. 20 years. Let's say 5, because I know we're all pretty impatient. I'm going to come down here and assume that we're going to grow at a rate of 7% annually, and that's basically the growth of the stock market. So we're going to leave that at 7%, hit calculate, and that means I need to find a way to make $3,991 per month into Realty Investment Corp, O, for example, and that would get me in 5 years to $285,000. Now, if you're looking at that and you're like, that's absurd. Couple things. First, change your mindset. Find a way to make $3,991. Find a way to cut back on your bills to get $3,991. Trust me, I used to think all the time, there's no way I can find that much money. I don't even make that much money. But then I started saying, how can I make $3,991? And then through side hustles and other things, I found a way to do that. But if you're still kind of like, that's a little too much, you can always adjust the time to grow. Let's say it's 10 years. Then all you got to do is find $1,650 a month. When it comes down to investing, you can do something called the Dividend Reinvestment Program. So to make this super simple for you, if we come over here, because if you're a beginner, this might sound like a lot, but let's just focus right here on O. If I would select in the brokerage that I'm buying the stock from, so whether that's Charles Schwab, Fidelity, Robinhood, Webull, whatever you're buying the stock in, and I invest my $1,600 a month or $3,900 a month into O, I am going to select that I want to reinvest the dividends that O pays me. So let's say you have 5 shares, 10 shares, 20 shares, 100 shares of O. That means if you reinvest the dividends, you're going to constantly get more money to get you more shares to get you more dividends. It becomes an incredible, beautiful, sexy snowball. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever said sexy snowball before, but seriously, when you understand how exciting this could be, you're going to find a way to put all the money into this. By the way, really quick plug for the dividend tracker. This is where I track all my dividends. They have the ability to track your portfolios for you automatically. That's where you see up here where it says Robinhood and Stash. Anytime I buy stocks within those two portfolios, Dividend Tracker automatically updates for me so I can always see what my annual income is. That's how I know I make $5,000 a year. You can also do this manually if you want to as well. They have both a free version as well as a paid version on the Dividend Tracker, and I'll include a link to it down in the description below so you can take advantage of that today. Let's say instead of just realty income, we want to buy, I don't know, maybe a share of, let's see, ABBV. That's another good one. We're going to buy that one as well. We're going to calculate now what you would need in order to make the $12,000 every single year. You need about $142,000 into O and $169,000 into ABBV. ABBV only has a dividend yield of 3.76%, but that is still pretty darn good. Adjust this however you want and add whatever ticker symbols you want into this thing. What you need to do is step number 1 is figure out how much money do I want to make. If you want to be aggressive and say, I want to make, let's say $100,000 a year, that's where you need to be honest with yourself. If you're just going to live off of dividends alone and make $100,000 every single year, you got to say to yourself, okay, I need to invest over $2 million. Or if I want to buy a high dividend paying ETF like QYLD, which we've discussed here on the channel, and I'll link it down below in the description so you can check out that video if you're not sure what QYLD is. Very high dividend yield of 13%. But look at this, $2.3 million invested. So in order to make $100,000 a year, I got to find a way to make $2 million. That's going to be a little bit difficult, right? Because if I take that and I plug it over here on my savings goal of $2 million, I'm going to need $13,000 a month for 10 years. Set up the plan and stay consistent with it. I'll tell you one thing that I look at the most is VTI and VOO. Now, VTI is an ETF that tracks the entire stock market index. The beautiful thing about VTI, which is one of my largest holdings in full transparency, is the fact that it tracks the entire stock market. It has over 3,000 stocks that when you buy one single share of VTI, it spreads your money across all of those stocks, which means if one company fails, it doesn't really matter because you have all the rest of the stock market to help balance you out. So if you're a little bit confused about getting into the stock market, you're not sure what stock to pick them all by looking into something like VTI. But check out this video next. We'll see you on the next video.